I'm Alex from phpacademy.org, and this is a video tutorial on PHP variables for the new Boston. Now, if you've programmed in any other programming languages, you'll know what variables are and you'll understand what they do, that you have to assign values to variables, and that there's different types of variables. Now, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create variables by assigning values to our standard structure that we use for variables, and then how to echo them out to the browser. So usually in programming languages such as JavaScript, anything like that, you'd have to use a keyword such as var. Then what you'd do is you'd type the name of the variable, and then you'd assign a value to it. So in this case it would be var name equals Alex, and this would be surrounded to show that it's string data. Now same as if you were to say var age equals 21, that would be exactly the same example. However, in PHP we don't really need to use any keywords to define anything. All we really need to do is use our $ notation. All variables start with the $. They can either start with an underscore or a character, an alphanumeric character, so it can be uppercase, it can be lowercase, or in fact it can start with a number, but it can't consist of just a number. So if we were to say create a variable here called text, and we could make that equal to hello world. So the notation that we've used is we've used the $ to start our variable. Notice we haven't specified what type of variable it is. It's not a string. Usually you might have to use a string keyword. We've just used $ text equals, so we're assigning a value to this variable here, and the value that we've assigned is some string data, and that is hello world inside there. Now we could say assign we want to create a variable with a number, so we could type number equals, and without using quotation marks, because if we were to put say a number in here, this is now classed as string data. So if we take it out, you can see that my text editor has turned it red, and we're just dealing with a numeric value, an integer value. As well as integers, you can also use floating values, so you can use decimal points within. So we could have 100.5 for example, but for now I'm just going to work with integers. We also have things like Boolean values, which is equal to true, false, and as equal to this, a Boolean for true would be the same as 1. It just means that something's true, so we can use that later on when we work with if statements and things like that. So we've got our variables, but how are we going to output them? Now there's one easy way to output variables, and that's just to put an echo straight in the middle. So what, or at the start, sorry. So what we're doing, let's just add a full stop in here. What we're doing is we're echoing out essentially the assignment of the text to the variable, and here we're echoing out the assignment of this integer to this variable, but this will work. So if we have a look and refresh, you can see that we've got hello world and then the number 100 printed. Now this is not a great way to do things, because what we want to do is we want to declare the variables up here and with our assignment, and then here we want to display them to the user. So for example, I could say echo text, and we can refresh our page, and you can see that that's just echoed out our single variable text, so we're just echoing text. Don't forget your line terminator. As well, we can echo number, so if we refresh, we've got 100 there, so we've just basically echoed out a number. Now as you're programming and you find different uses for storing different things, for example you might want to take the user's age or take the user's name, you'll find that you will be storing things, you'll be storing string data, and you'll be storing numerical data as well, so integers, floats, things like that. So in actual fact it's so easy in PHP because you don't need to think about what data you're storing. You just need to use the notation with the $, the variable name following the rules, and then just the value to the variable. So you can see that PHP variables are in fact really easy. Hi there, this is Alex from phpacademy.org, and this is another video tutorial for the new Boston. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about concatenation within PHP. Now if you've ever come across the word concatenation, you'll understand what it means, or if you've programmed before you might understand how to concatenate different variables together, or how to print out things and then concatenate variables in so you can view them in a sentence if you like. Now in PHP it's really simple. Let's start out by creating just a few variables. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a variable called day, and this is going to be equal to the day of the week. So today it is Thursday, and I'm going to create another variable called let's say date. And this is just going to be simply equal to the day in numerical value. So it's the 31st today. Now down here, if I wanted to say echo out the day and then the date, so eventually I want it to say this, so let's just echo it out so we know what we're doing. Thursday, I could say the date is Thursday 31, just to make things simple. We could eventually faff around with st, but that would use if statements, which is later on. So the date is Thursday the 31st. This is what we want our program to display. We could in fact incorporate the year in as well, so I'm going to say year equals, I'm going to say 2011. Now the reason I'm doing this is, for example, if it was the year 2000, in actual fact it would work. So yeah, okay, we'll keep this as integer data. So the year equals 2011. So we've got a variable called day, we've got a variable called date, and we've got a variable called year. So eventually we want this program to display the date is Thursday the 31st 2011, but we want it to use these variables rather than a predefined set of text that we've written out. So the way we do this is we can either use our double quotation marks, which is going to make life a lot easier for us, or we're going to use singles. Now I'm going to use singles at first because it's a lot better for you to learn with single quotation marks, and then you can go ahead and be lazy and use the doubles if you like. So with the single quotation marks, I'm going to start typing the date is, okay, so I've left a space here on purpose. Now after the last single quotation mark, but before the line terminator, we want to add a full stop. So it's just a single dot on this line. Then what we need to do is just simply address the variable that we want to echo. So this is still all included on the echo line. If we put the day here, it's still going to echo out day, even though we haven't sort of pre-put echo in front of it. So concatenation just basically means we're joining something on to the string that we're already echoing. So the day is day, then we want a space, so I'm going to concatenate on a piece of string data with just a space inside, and I'm going to concatenate on as well with another dot, date, and then I'm going to concatenate on another space, so we're using the full stop and then the space here with the single quotation marks, and then eventually we're going to do year. Now obviously we don't need to concatenate anything else onto the end of that because that is the end of our line. So now we can just preview. Let's have a look in our browser, refresh, and you can see that it says the date is Thursday 31st 2011. Now what if I was to make a change here? So I could say it's Friday the 32nd 2011. I know that's an unrealistic value. We'll go for 30 then, just so you don't get confused. So we could say it's Wednesday. Okay, so it's Wednesday the 30th 2011. Let's refresh, and you can see that's updated itself. Again, the same with the year. This can be changed as well, and it will just simply update the output. So this is the harder but faster way to sort of echo variables within string data as well. Obviously we could also echo things onto the end of this. For example, we might do a strong tag, and then we might put a strong tag just before here. So the way this is going to work is we're echoing out normal text, a bit of HTML just before we declare this within the concatenation. Then we have a space, we have the date, we have a space, we have the year, and then we end with ending the HTML. So let's refresh, and you can see that that's turned bold. So this is the better way to do things, but now let's take for the easy way. So let's echo the date. Oh, in fact, we're using double quotation marks. Now you're going to see how easy it is to do it this way. The date is day, date, year, and that's it. We don't need to concatenate because we're using variables within a string. Now you might think that this will output $year. In actual fact, if we had single quotation marks, you can see what happens. You can see that it's literally outputted the $sign day, the $sign date, the $sign year, when in actual fact we want it to reference these three variables here. So all we do is change these to double quotation marks, and you'll see that that magically updates itself and puts the variables in there for you. So it's totally personal preference. Like I've explained before, single quotation marks are faster. Concatenation gets you used to looking at complex code and understanding what's outputted where. So I'd always recommend using the single quotation marks and the concatenation for each variable. So that's basically concatenating within PHP.